Now before we start this video, I just want to show you guys a meme that Persona basically did. The guy putting salt in a pot. Thank you, Maruki, for that, and thank you, Persona, for doing this thing for me, because I honestly thought that this meme was actually pretty funny. Okay, anyways, hello everyone, Pleasure here, and today we are doing the final video for Persona 5 Royal, and that is the rankings on the palaces that we have completed and finished. We don't talk about the sequel, okay? So, we're gonna be doing rankings. There are seven of these palaces that we're gonna be ranking. I'm gonna be ranking on the atmosphere, if the music is good or not, if the boss fight is good, and what this palace tells us about the character. Alright, let's get to it. Akuma isn't good. I'm sorry. Even if they fixed, all the things that were annoying about this character, to this day, I just never found it really enjoyable to do his palace. Don't get me wrong, it's definitely not the worst anymore, but the main point that makes it really bad is Morgana and Ryuji fighting, like, every time. I'm sorry. It's just really annoying. It doesn't get any better just listening to them bickering and whatnot, like old ladies, and it gets really tiresome after a while. I'm really glad they kind of stopped doing that, but then, it's here and there that you'll hear it. Other than that, it's not the worst thing it's not the worst thing that you will find in this palace. Now, sure, in my opinion, I think it was already bad enough when they made it so the robots can just come back after running away when, I'm pretty sure they should have been done with afterwards. That to me is actually the most annoying part that they added into this boss fight. But the thing that actually makes it really interesting is actually what Akuma does, which is making it so Haru fights for him. And that makes it so it tells us that he's actually very selfish and would do anything that involves him not being in confrontation with the enemy. Now, the palace itself, I don't get the whole space thing. I never got it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Not sure, Big Bang, as in Big Bang Theory and whatnot, the whole Big Bang Burger restaurant. I can kind of see where Akuma was going with, or what Persona was trying to go with, the whole Big Bang and whatnot. But in general, it just doesn't make sense to me. There's this one suggestion that this guy had. I kind of forgot what his YouTube channel was named, but basically so when the ship was about to go off, they should have revealed that the palace is in space, which would have added like a whole, shock value to us. We're like, oh shit, now we know why it's called Big Bang Burger. But no, it's front and center. We all know why it's called Big Bang. It literally shows you at the very beginning. And the robots are very unimaginative. I don't like them. It's very stupid. Sure, it's, gives them less work to deal with and makes it so they could do on other passes that are way better than Akuma. But if they could just, make it so they're not resisted or strong against every other fucking attack, then maybe it would have been more bearable. But no, they're strong against basically everything except for their weakness, and that's very annoying. Now for Kanashiro, and it's very sad to say. Also, the music in Akuma, no, it's not good. Alright, anyways, so Kanashiro, first things first, the music, kind of catchy. I kind of like it, but it's not that good. It's not as memorable as the others that are in this. Like, for example, Sai. Like, come on, who doesn't like Sai's Palace's music? That's literally the bop. And the palace itself, it's very bland. It's very gray. Sure, if it was going for like a whole depressive atmosphere, I can kind of see what they were going with, but it's not like Makoto was going through something. Sure, Makoto was going through the whole being called useless phase and whatnot, and Kanashiro does call, what's it called, Makoto useless or being dumb and whatnot, but it's not as bad as what her own sister says to her that calls him useless and it sucks the life out of her, which would have made it very traumatizing for Makoto to go through. But Kanashiro as a boss, in my opinion, is very cliche. And it's just a person who wants to be strong, so he extorts money out of people. But in reality, he's just a really weak person, and that he uses money and his minions to hide that fact. But the palace in general is good. I do like the puzzle a little bit, even though I find it generally annoying with the final puzzle. And eh, the boss fight, as I said, it's not good. They removed the one part of the boss fight, and that generally kind of annoyed me because I thought it was actually really cool that we get to go against Kanashiro himself. But the one thing that does make it good is Makoto herself, and that's because Makoto is just generally, as I said, badass, and as well as having one of the best, you know, awakening to her persona.
Persona! Help me! Go down!
Kamoshida isn't bad. Now, he does reveal one of the best characters in the game, which is Ryuji, which is, oh man, I love Ryuji so much. He's just one of the greatest characters in this game. I don't know why people just don't like him. It just makes no sense to me. And then we have On. Anyways, the Kamoshida is just a perverted, teacher who does sexually and, physically abuse his students as well as the females that are in the schools. And, that's like a reasonable thing to stop him and change his heart of and whatnot. But it's just in general, the whole castle theme, I think it's really good. It does have a really good boss fight. Granted, it is a tutorial boss. It's going to be easy, but it's a really good tutorial boss nonetheless. But my god, the tutorial takes forever to complete. And that's what makes it so annoying. And the music, I can't even remember it. I really can't. It's not memorable. The music is just not there. I can't remember the music. And that's why I think Kamoshida, even though he's a good tutorial boss, his music in general, not good. As well as the damage output that he gives you. He's literally the easiest boss in this game. Like, come on. You cannot get beat by this guy. And if you do, you're just kind of bad. I'm sorry. And the thing I do like about his boss fight is that he uses Mishima and Shito against you, which is cool. I do like it. But the thing is that I don't know how that has to do with him being perverted, except for Shito wearing a very, weird outfit that involves a bunny suit. We all know this. Other than that, this boss and this palace in general, it's okay. I do like this palace. It's not that good as the others.
Persona! Help me! Go down!
Alright, Mementos. Now, it's kind of shocking considering that Mementos is actually the last, palace that you ever do in Persona 5 Vanilla, 9 Royal. I'm sorry to say that. Let's just get that out of the way. And Yellow Bell, as well as the Holy Grail, is actually a really good boss fight. And I'm not going to say it isn't, because it pretty is. It pretty much is a really good boss fight. Would I say it's a better boss fight than, what, Shito's or Sai's? No, not at all. Not at all. Don't get me wrong, we're fighting literally God. And that to me, as I said, it's pretty funny. We go from fighting a perverted teacher to God himself. And I think that's actually pretty funny. But the boss fight, the things that are given to you in Persona, it's very easy to beat them, especially if you're me, who use literally like one attack against this guy and that's it. It's not that hard to beat the Holy Grail as well as Bababao. And the whole palace, it's a very good place to grind. once you get outside of Mementos and you go to Shibuya, it's very easy to grind to level up to level 99, and that's actually to me really cool because you actually could go there to get level 99, get the money to make better personas or level up your characters to get better attacks for your personas like Joker, stuff like that. And I do like the atmosphere of it being black and red. Granted, it's all over the place, but the whole point of Memento was it being a very dark and decrepit area that's full of shadows, and the whole veins are sucking up the people's life force so they can't make their own decisions. That's why it makes sense to me as it being red and black and whatnot. And the music, I kind of like the music, but it gets annoying because it just plays over and over again. Like, can it just change? It just doesn't change at all, and that kind of gets annoying. But in general, if I had to rate the boss fight between these two, the Holy Grail and Yababelf, I'm gonna be honest, Holy Grail kind of takes the cake. And that's just because Diablo Belf is very easy in general. Don't get me wrong, Holy Grail is way easier than Diablo Belf. But I kind of like the part where just the Holy Grail wins at one part and then you literally die. That's actually, like, it was pretty shocking to me when I first played it. And then seeing it again, I'll be honest, I feel like I could have beaten the boss, but I feel like you can't actually beat this as like a forced cutscene. But it is what it is.
Persona! Help me! Go down!
Madarame. I'm not gonna lie, Madarame kind of grew on me a little bit. To be honest, he was kind of like the worst character when I was playing Vanilla, and I thought he was the worst character right next to Akuma. But he actually did grew on me, and he actually made it to the top 3. Now, Madarame is a very beautiful palace. It's full of amazing colors to look at, and you actually take the chance to look at everything and hear the sounds that was around the palace, and it's very eerie and disturbing. You can hear the actual people like screaming for help, and I find this very cool, and I actually like this palace a whole lot because of it. And then you have all these amazing colors that's use of gold. And usually if you just use gold all over the place, it gets annoying and it just blinds you and whatever. But whenever you use a gold, it's actually really nice to look at. And it's all over the place basically. Granted, it kind of says I'm biased when it comes to Madarame. But here's the thing, my favorite character is Makoto, and I do like Kanashiro's palette. It's just a few things here and there that just kind of ruins it for me. But, Yusuke is cool as well. Madarame himself, I actually love his boss fight. Boss fight is very creative. The use of him using his fake identities or his fake selves in order for him to fight you, that to me is actually really cool, and that's a cool touch of him using fake things around him to use against his people or against his enemies. And his music, it's not that bad. It's actually a good vibe to listen to when you're like in your car and when you're taking a shower, if anything. I don't know. Why would you take a shower with Persona music? I'll be honest with you. And his boss fight, as I said, really good. His boss theme, I'll be honest, I just don't remember it. But other than that, Yusuke's Persona Awakening, it's actually one of the best. It's really good. And yeah, that's basically it.
Persona! Help me! Go down!
And now for this palace, I like to give it to Futaba. Futaba is, to me, it's a very interesting palace that involves a person that we're changing hearts to is actually not a bad guy. It's actually a person who is, as I said, suicidal and depressed because of her mother's passing. And we all know later on the reason for this is because of Shito's doing. He basically got Akechi to kill off Wakaba, and that's what leads to Futaba wanting for the Phantom Thieves to change her heart. The palace, it looks beautiful. I love the palace. I love the intro to be introduced to this palace of us being in a desert. I love the music. The music is also really catchy. Not as catchy as the other ones that are up ahead this palace, but it's really good overall. And the boss fight is not bad either. I actually do like this boss fight a whole lot, and from vanilla to royal, it's still to me one of the best palace boss fights out there. And the whole Futaba being the actual treasure, which is actually a really interesting concept of Persona, it actually adds more of a story, or it adds more details to what can be considered to be a treasure in Persona 5. I don't know if this has ever been the case in the other Persona games, but I think this is a really interesting concept of a person being the treasure, and as well as having that treasure becoming their persona. And Wakaba as the evil boss fight, which is actually a cognition of Futaba's mother, I think it's a really interesting concept. Usually we will actually fight the shadow version of a boss, but in this one, this is the cognition version of them. And yeah, in general, I think this palace is generally really good. But is it better than the ones that are above this palace that you're gonna see in a little bit? No, eh, not that too much. But I think it stands up as being one of the best palaces out there in Persona 5 Royal.
Persona! Help me! Go down!
Shito, the main man who brought Ren, aka our main character, who I called Azzy, probation or jail time, expelled from the school. Yeah, basically. Shito is actually really good. I love the whole palace of it being a ship and you're going across the whole city and it's all submerged in water. It's really cool. And the whole process of us getting the fight introduction, it isn't bad. I do like it. It can get annoying if you do a few, playthroughs here and there and whatnot. But on your first try, it's not that bad. I do like it a whole lot. And going against Akechi is actually really fun as well. Granted, he's easy. I thought he would be a little bit harder, but no, he's pretty easy. Especially on my first try when I went against him in vanilla, he wasn't that hard, and I thought he was, but no, he wasn't that bad. Now, the whole atmosphere is really good, as I said, and the music is good as well. I do like the music. It just makes me want to jam out to it and whatnot. But the puzzle is so bad. I don't like the puzzle. Granted, I should have, if the puzzle was not there to begin with, this would have been number one. It would have been number one. But no, the puzzle ruins it. Us turning into rats, having to go to events, it's so bad. I don't like it. And it's sad. It's really sad. Because this palace is really good. And if the boss fight wasn't good, like at all, it would have been right next to Kamoshida. Or even below it, actually. But no, it's just bad. And the boss fight is amazing. I love the boss fight. It's really good. Especially when you get to fight him by yourself. I think in general, the boss fight is just really good. And he has 3 transformations? I kind of forgot to say that he had 5 instead of 4 because the beast that he rides on grows wings. And I forgot to mention that. Either the artist kind of forgot that was a thing. Because it's nothing else really. He's just immune to physical attacks afterwards. Other than that, this boss fight and the whole palace in general, it's really good. And I do recommend, giving it a try on different difficulties, like hard or merciless if you're a masochist. Who knows?
Persona! Help me! Go down!
Okay, let's be honest. if you're a Persona fan and you play Persona 5, Vanilla and Royal, you kind of knew this was coming. But come on, really? You think it's not going to be up here? Come on, it's one of the best things ever. The music, the palace, the way it looks, the atmosphere. Oh my god, it's amazing. And I love it. Oh man. And the puzzle isn't even bad either. The puzzle is it's just great. It's amazing. It's nothing too bad, nothing annoying. It's generally one of the greatest things I've ever played. And the music is so good. It's something you could just jam out to non-stop. And I never got tired of it. I always listen to it whenever I got the chance to in Persona. And it's so beautiful to look at. Like the whole casino. Like the whole casino palace, whoever thought of that is a fucking genius because it's so good. And whoever thought it needs to get a raise immediately because whoever thought of it just has the most creative mind known to mankind. And you get to see like these chips from the casino just fall from the sky. You see, for some reason, the shadow is wearing a bunny suit. Why do they have tits? It's so weird, but my god, I just don't care. The entire boss fight too, it's amazing. I love it. And I know it kind of makes it a little bit easier. I know it's a little bit easy because of the whole second part of the boss fight. But here's the thing. It makes it very unique because she actually does target the people who are weak to that whole power. Like for example, as I said, Makoto being weak to psychic kinetic powers, she will literally focus on your teammate who is weak to that. And that to me was very smart. It was such a genius move to add in to Persona as well as the Size Palace. And if they didn't do it, it would still have been number one. But the thing is, it just got so much better. And yeah, that is all the palaces. Quote unquote all. I'm sorry, I have to keep mentioning that. I just hate the fact that I can't get this last palace in. And yeah, that's all. That's all Persona. Now, if you didn't see my Deltarune, what do they call my Deltarune stream on that? I did complete it already. And I did say in the first stream that I was going to do Persona 5 Striker. And to be honest, I don't know if I'm going to be doing a stream or if I'm going to be recording. But if I had to be honest, I kind of want to stream it because it just feels better to me if I stream it because I get to work at my own pace and whatnot. Granted, I kind of get bored playing this thing over a couple hours, so the stream is not going to be too long, but long enough, I guess. But yeah, I want people to play Persona 5 Royal. Persona 5 Royal is a great game. Granted, it's not the best Persona from what I've heard, but in general, I think it's a really good JRPG. And I think anyone can have fun and like the characters that are in Persona, especially like the boss fights that I've gone through and whatnot. But that's just Persona. Persona catched my heart, and I think it will catch yours if you gave it a chance. Yeah, that's all I have to say. I'm done with Persona 5 Royal. I had tons of fun. I'm not going to be coming back to it anytime soon. Unless if I feel like I got bored and want to waste more hundreds of hours of my life. And yeah, that's all I have to say. I'll see you guys next time.